Russia has launched naval drills in the Baltic Sea involving dozens of warships amid high tensions with nearby NATO members over the war in Ukraine.
Russian espionage activities in the Baltic Sea have been a subject of growing concern for many countries, especially those in Northern Europe. With a long history of geopolitical tension, the Baltic Sea has become a focal point for espionage, covert operations, and military maneuvers, most notably by Russia, which maintains a significant presence through its Baltic Fleet and intelligence networks. This growing tension has been fueled by both overt military activity and more secretive espionage efforts that remain largely out of sight. Let's break down the various facets of Russia's operations in the Baltic Sea and how they affect regional security.
The Russian authorities decided to unilaterally change the country's maritime borders with Lithuania and Finland in the Baltic Sea.
Russian espionage in the Baltic Sea, the role of research vessels. In the intricate and high-stakes geopolitical arena of the Baltic Sea, Russia's use of research vessels as a cover for espionage and military reconnaissance has raised alarms among European intelligence and military communities. One vessel, in particular, the SIBIRYAKOV, has come under scrutiny for its covert activities in the region. While presented as a civilian ship involved in oceanographic research, its secretive mission has led to growing concerns about the vulnerabilities in Europe's underwater infrastructure, such as pipelines and communication cables. This escalating tension echoes the dynamics of a new Cold War, as NATO and European nations grapple with how to secure critical assets in this volatile region. The importance of underwater infrastructure. The Baltic Sea is not just a body of water, it serves as a critical hub for modern infrastructure, including energy pipelines, such as Nord Stream, and data cables that are essential for the economies of many European nations. Disruption to these underwater systems could lead to catastrophic consequences, ranging from energy shortages that would affect millions to interruptions in global communications. As such, these infrastructure elements are attractive targets for espionage and sabotage, particularly from nations like Russia, which have a vested interest in destabilizing the region. Russian activities in the Baltic Sea have highlighted the fragility of this infrastructure, drawing attention from NATO, which has since established an intelligence unit dedicated to monitoring and securing these underwater assets. The formation of this unit underscores the gravity of the situation and reflects the increasing need for enhanced security measures to counter Russian threats. Espionage under the guise of research. Russian research vessels, including the SIBIRYAKOV, have long operated in the Baltic Sea, but recent developments suggest that these ships are involved in more than just scientific research. Former crew members and intelligence sources have revealed that these vessels are equipped with sophisticated sonar and surveillance technologies, allowing them to scan the seabed for strategic objects like undersea cables and pipelines. This reconnaissance provides valuable data that could be used in potential military operations, giving Russia a significant strategic advantage. The presence of armed soldiers on board these vessels further blurs the line between civilian and military operations. Despite operating under the guise of scientific exploration, these ships are essentially conducting covert surveillance missions, prompting heightened scrutiny from European authorities. Recent incidents and sabotage fears. Concerns about the true nature of Russia's activities in the Baltic Sea intensified after the mysterious destruction of the Baltic Connector, a gas pipeline linking Finland and Estonia. The official explanation for the incident, a dropped anchor from a passing Chinese vessel, has been met with skepticism from experts, who argue that the mechanical complexity of dropping an anchor makes this explanation implausible. Stefan Kruger, a naval architect, has pointed out that such an incident is technically unlikely, raising suspicions that something more nefarious may have been at play.
Is encroachment on the territory of Lithuania and Finland already an aggression against NATO countries, or do we still have to wait for permission to fight back?
In the aftermath of the Baltic Connector destruction, journalists from several countries launched an investigation that uncovered Morse code messages from Russian ships in the area prior to the incident. This discovery suggests that Russian vessels may have been involved in the sabotage, or at least were closely monitoring the pipeline, which only fuels speculation about Russia's intentions in the region. The role of NATO and enhanced security measures. In response to these incidents, NATO has stepped up its efforts to protect the critical infrastructure in the Baltic Sea. The alliance is currently conducting joint military exercises focused on improving the security of underwater pipelines and cables. These exercises aim to enhance operational readiness and ensure that NATO forces are prepared to respond to any threats to the region's infrastructure. Moreover, advances in sonar technology have allowed both military and civilian researchers to detect small objects underwater with greater accuracy. This capability is crucial for identifying potential threats to undersea infrastructure, such as explosive devices or suspicious vessels. NATO's proactive approach to securing the Baltic Sea, including conducting technical data collection in submarine exercise areas, demonstrates a growing awareness of the vulnerabilities posed by Russian activities. Legal challenges in maritime security. Germany, one of the key players in the Baltic Sea region, faces significant legal and regulatory hurdles when it comes to securing its maritime borders and protecting its infrastructure from potential threats. Despite the improvements made by the German Navy, the division of responsibilities between federal and state authorities creates confusion about who has the authority to respond to security incidents at sea. For example, wind farms in the North and Baltic Seas, which are critical to Europe's efforts to transition away from Russian energy dependence, face considerable risks of sabotage from suspicious vessels. Investors have expressed concerns that the lack of a clear legal framework could deter investment in these renewable energy projects, slowing down Europe's energy transition efforts at a crucial time. Russia's historical investment in underwater capabilities. Russia's commitment to its military capabilities in the nuclear and underwater sectors dates back decades and reflects a strategic focus on maintaining its influence in regions like the Baltic Sea. This long-term investment, combined with the country's recent activities in the region, underscores the significant threat Russia poses to European security. The deployment of research vessels like the SIBIRYAKOV is just one example of how Russia has leveraged its naval assets to engage in espionage. By using civilian ships to conduct military reconnaissance, Russia can avoid direct confrontation while still gathering valuable intelligence that could be used in future conflicts. The escalating threat. The situation in the Baltic Sea is becoming increasingly volatile, with Russia's espionage activities posing a direct threat to the region's infrastructure and security. The use of research vessels like the SIBIRYAKOV to conduct covert operations highlights the lengths to which Russia is willing to go to maintain its influence in the region. European nations, particularly those bordering the Baltic Sea, are now more aware than ever of the vulnerabilities in their critical infrastructure. While NATO has taken steps to enhance security, the evolving nature of Russian espionage tactics demands constant vigilance and adaptation. As tensions continue to rise, the Baltic Sea remains a flashpoint in the broader geopolitical struggle between Russia and the West, with the stakes higher than ever for Europe's energy security and military stability.